Evan Carter did not remember the moment the rescue team pulled him from the broken shuttle. All he remembered was the sound of metal screaming around him, alarms ringing in his ears, and a bright white flash. When he opened his eyes again, he was no longer inside his small human craft. He was lying on a soft medical bed covered with glowing blue sheets, inside a room that looked nothing like anything made by humans. The walls curved smoothly, as if grown, not built. Soft lights floated in the air like tiny stars. Strange patterns moved across the ceiling in slow waves, and nearby, a silver machine hummed, scanning his body without touching him. Evan blinked hard, trying to understand if he was alive, dead, or dreaming before he could say a word. The door opened with a gentle hiss. An alien walked in. She was tall, but moved with quiet grace. Her skin was light blue, like morning sky, her hair silver and soft, falling over her shoulders like threads of moonlight. Her eyes glowed faintly, showing both kindness and nervousness. She wore a smooth white uniform that shimmered when she moved. She stopped near the bed and pressed, her hand to her chest in a greeting gesture. "My name is Nira," she said softly. "I am your medical caretaker." Evan tried to sit up, but dizziness pushed him back onto the bed. Where am I?" "You are on the Valari medical ship," Nira replied. "Your shuttle was found drifting. You were injured and unconscious. We brought you here for treatment." Kryon swallowed. Aliens. Real ones? He had known the Valari existed, but humans rarely met them directly. And now he was lying helpless in their medical bay. Nira noticed the fear in his eyes and tried to smile. "Please don't worry. You are safe." Safe. He wasn't sure. Nira walked to a floating console and tapped glowing symbols. A hologram of Evan's body appeared, covered in strange readings. "I must begin a full examination," she said. "A full what?" Evan asked carefully. "A complete check of your physiology," Nira explained. "Human bodies are unfamiliar to me. I want to make sure you are stable." Evan felt heat rise to his face. "Do you have human medical experience?" Nira paused. "I studied human anatomy in academy, but..." She lowered her eyes, embarrassed. "I have never examined a human in real life." Great, Evan thought. "I'm her first test subject." She approached the bed with a small tray of alien instruments' smooth metal shapes, glowing tubes, and scanners that made soft clicking sounds. Nira lifted a circular scanning device. "This will check your heart and lung function," she said politely. The scanner floated over Evan's chest, projecting blue light. He felt a warm tingling, but nothing painful. "So far your organs appear normal," Nira murmured. "But your energy levels are unstable. Very unstable." "What does that mean?" "I'm not certain," she admitted. "Human energy signatures are different from Valari. I just need to observe carefully." She began noting details on the floating screen. Evan relaxed slightly until she picked up the next device. "This will require physical inspection," she said. Evan's eyes widened. "Physical inspection?" "Yes, of your external organs." He swallowed nervously. "All of them?" "Yes, of course," she answered innocently. "A full examination must include every part of the body." Evan covered his face with his hands. This was getting worse. Nira stepped closer, unaware of his embarrassment. "Please don't be afraid." "I will be gentle, not afraid," Evan said quickly. This is awkward." "Awkward," she repeated, struggling with the word. "Is this a human medical term?" He shook his head. "No, it just means uncomfortable." Nira tilted her head, confused. "Why would it be uncomfortable?" "You are simply being examined." Evan sighed. How could he explain? Alien cultural differences were going to kill him faster than any medical problem. Nira pulled the sheets. slightly down to check his abdomen. Evan froze. She paused, noticing his reaction. "Is this area sensitive?" she asked with concern. Double quotes, "Yes, but not in a dangerous way. It's just private." "Private," she repeated. "Ah, human modesty. I remember reading about this." She gave a small smile to reassure him. "Do not worry. I will be respectful." Evan relaxed a little, but then Nira lifted the sheet a bit lower for the next part of the check, and she stopped. Completely froze. Her glowing silver eyes widened. "Human males have an external instrument," she whispered, shocked. Evan's face turned red. "It's not an instrument. It's just human anatomy." Nira leaned closer, amazed. "But in the diagrams, this organ was inside the body. This is different." "Very different," Evan groaned. "Those were probably medical illustrations." Nira stepped back, unsure what to do. It was clear she had not trained for this discovery. "I must record this," she said softly, still staring. "For science." No. Don't record anything." Before their awkward moment could become even worse, a loud alarm suddenly echoed through the medical bay. Red lights flashed above them. The ship AI's voice boomed. "Warning. Human patient's energy levels rising dangerously. Immediate intervention required." Nira turned to Evan, fear filling her bright eyes. His skin began glowing faintly. Something strange was happening inside him. Nira grabbed his hand. "Evan, stay with me. I will protect you." And the examination was no longer just awkward, it had become dangerous. The alarm kept echoing through the medical bay, turning the calm blue room into a field of flashing red lights. Evan Carter felt his heartbeat pounding inside his chest like a hammer. His skin glowed brighter soft at first, then stronger, like someone had switched on a light under his skin. Nira, the alien nurse, had never seen anything like this. Human medical reports never mention glowing skin or unstable internal energy. She held Evan's hand tightly, her calm voice betrayed by the tremble in her fingers. "Evan, focus on your breathing," she said softly. "Slow, deep, just look at me." He tried, but his chest felt hot. Energy rose inside him, as if his blood was turning into electricity. "What's happening to me?" Evan whispered, terrified. Nira stepped back to study the glowing patterns rising across his arms and neck. "Your body is reacting to our healing field." The Valari medical systems use energy waves to stabilize injured life forms. "But your human biology? It's responding in a way I don't understand." Evan tried to sit up, but a wave of dizziness forced him down. The glowing intensified for a moment, then pulsed like a heartbeat. Nira quickly turned to the floating console. Symbols flickered across the screen. "Your cells are absorbing the field," she murmured. "That's impossible. Humans can't absorb Valari energy." She swallowed hard, or at least, they shouldn't. Before she could continue her analysis, the door to the bay slid open. A tall Valari doctor entered, 6 fingers, long white coat, and eyes glowing bright like stars. "Report," he demanded. Nur bowed her head slightly. "Dr. Valen, the human, is experiencing an abnormal reaction. His body is drawing power from the healing field." Valen stared at Evan, his expression unreadable. "Deactivate the field," he ordered. Nira hesitated. "Sir, if we deactivate it now, the sudden drop may damage his heart rhythm." "Do it," Valen said sharply. Nira obeyed. She tapped the panel, and the humming field surrounding Evan disappeared instantly. Evan gasped as the glow flickered. His heartbeat slowed slightly, but the light under his skin did not vanish. Dr. Valen watched him carefully. "Human," he said, "did you consume any alien substance? Any unknown material before your crash?" Evan shook his head. "No. I was working on an engine coil. It malfunctioned." That's all. Valen didn't look convinced. Nira stepped forward protectively. With respect, sir. He is scared. Questioning him like this won't help. The doctor's eyes narrowed at her tone. But she continued. I recommend we isolate him from the medical systems and monitor him manually. The energy reaction is stabilizing slowly. Valen considered her suggestion for a moment, then nodded. Very well. But keep him under watch. If his condition worsens, we may need to restrain him. Restrain. Evan repeated in panic. It is standard protocol, Valen said coldly. Unstable energy in a patient can cause violent outbursts. I'm not violent. Evan protested. We will see. The doctor replied before leaving the room. The door sealed shut behind him, leaving Evan and Nira alone again. Nira turned back to Evan, her expression softening. Don't worry. I won't let them restrain you. Evan let out a shaky breath. Thank you. She pulled a small stool next to him and sat down. I need to run a manual scan, she said gently. No machines. Just observation and contact. Is that okay? He nodded. Nara placed her cool, glowing hand against his wrist. Your pulse is strong. Stronger than before. I feel different, Evan admitted, like something is moving inside me. Nira studied the faint blue lines of light flowing under his skin. This pattern, she whispered, it matches the frequency of our healing field. But humans do not connect with Valari energy. Your body is not supposed to do this. So, what does it mean? Nira hesitated before answering. It means you might be the first human who can. That sentence hung in the air like a heavy cloud. Before Evan could respond, the lights in the room flickered. The ship trembled slightly. A deep, distant rumble echoed through the corridor. Nira's eyes widened. That wasn't internal. Something hit the ship. Evan forced himself up. Hit, like an attack. She stood quickly. Stay here. I have to check the status, but before she could reach the door, it slid open on its own. A shadowy figure stepped inside, wearing dark armor with a symbol Evan did not recognize. Not Valari. Not friendly. The intruder's voice was cold and sharp. Stand away from the human. Nira froze. Evan's glow suddenly intensified again, and everything became even more dangerous than before. The intruder stood in the doorway like a tall shadow blocking the light. His armor was matte black and covered in sharp metallic lines. His helmet had thin red eyes that glowed like burning coals. He wasn't Valari. He wasn't human. He was something else, something dangerous. Nira instinctively stepped in front of Evan. Identify yourself, she said, her voice steady but her hands shaking. The intruder ignored her. His red eyes focused on Evan as if scanning him. So, the stranger said in a deep, mechanical voice, the human survived. Evan felt his skin tingle again. The glowing under his skin brightened slightly without his control. Who are you? Evan asked, forcing himself to sit up straighter. The intruder didn't answer him either. Instead, he raised a small device that flickered with purple energy. Step aside, Nursey ordered. Nira, no, Nira said firmly. This is a medical bay. You are not allowed here without authorization. The intruder tilted his head slightly, amused. Authorization. Child, your authority means nothing to us. Evan noticed the way Nira's shoulders stiffened at the word child. She was young by Valari standards, maybe only finishing her first years of service. But she stood there like a shield. The intruder clicked a button on his wrist, and the lights in the room darkened slightly. I will ask one last time. Step aside. Nira didn't move, so the intruder lifted his hand and Evan's body reacted. A bright pulse shot down his arms. The glowing under his skin flared like lightning. A shockwave burst outward, rattling the instruments in the room. The intruder stumbled back. Impossible, he growled. Nira turned to Evan, eyes wide with shock. Evan, you just produced a kinetic burst. I didn't do anything, Evan said, panicked. It happened by itself. The intruder regained his balance and stared at Evan with a mixture of fear and calculation. So it's true, he muttered. The human has absorbed the Valari field. He tapped his helmet. Command will want to know. Nira stepped closer to Evan defensively. You cannot take him. He is my patient. The intruder raised his weapon. But before he could fire, the medical bay doors slammed open again, this time with the force of authority. Dr. Allen entered with 3 Valari guards behind him. Their armor glowed with bright white energy, opposite of the intruder's dark suit. Remove your weapon, Valen commanded. This ship is under Valari protection. The intruder did not lower his weapon. Instead, he laughed. The sound echoed sharply. You Valari think you are still powerful. You think your laws matter in this part of the galaxy? Valen's expression did not change. Leave or face immediate containment. The intruder spoke in a calm, chilling voice. We only want the human. Give him to us, and we will leave peacefully. Absolutely not, Valen replied. The intruder turned his head slightly. Then you will all regret this. Before anyone could react, he threw a small sphere onto the floor. It cracked open and released thick, dark smoke. The room filled with a burning smell. Nira coughed, her eyes tearing. Evan tried to stand, but the smoke made him dizzy again. The intruder was using the chaos to reach Evan, but something inside Evan reacted again stronger than before. His hands sparked with energy. A wave of blue light burst outward from his chest. The smoke twisted and scattered like dust in a storm. The intruder stumbled back once more, shielding himself with his arm. Evan didn't know how he did it. Nira stared at him. Evan, your energy levels are rising again. I can't control it. He shouted. The intruder steadied himself and pointed his weapon directly at Evan. You are too dangerous to live. But before he could fire, a blast of white energy struck him from the side, one of the Valari guards. The intruder flew back and crashed into the wall. His armor sparked. He stood up slowly, damaged, glaring at everyone. This is not over, he hissed. He pressed a button on his wrist and vanished in a flash of purple light. Silence filled the room. Nira rushed to Evan. Are you hurt? Evan shook his head, breathless. No. But who was he? Valen stepped forward, expression grave. That, the doctor said quietly, was a member of the Kryon Syndicate. And they don't appear unless they want something very valuable. He looked at Evan. Human. They want you. Evan's glow flickered again. Nira gently held his arm. Evan, your life is in danger. And we need to find out why your body is changing. Valen nodded. Prepare him. We are moving him to secure medical chamber. Evan looked down at his glowing skin. Something was happening to him, something big. And now? Multiple alien groups were involved. Asterisk, the medical bay felt colder after the intruder vanished. The Valari guards quickly sealed the doors, activating layers of bright blue energy shields. For a moment, nobody spoke. The smoke cleared slowly, leaving the room silent except for the soft humming of machines. Evan sat on the edge of the bed, breathing hard. The glowing under his skin had faded only a little, but he still felt strange, too warm. Too alert, too alive. Nira stood beside him, gently checking his pulse. Your heartbeat is fast, she whispered. But not dangerous. Evan forced a weak smile. Being attacked by an alien assassin wasn't exactly relaxing. Dr. Valen stepped closer, his expression serious. We must move quickly. The Kryon Syndicate is not a group we can ignore. If they want you, it means you possess something they consider important. Evan raised an eyebrow. I'm just an engineer. I fix engines. Why would a criminal alien group want me? Valen studied him. That is what we intend to find out. He motioned to the guards. Prepare the secure chamber. Okay. The guards nodded and left the room. Nira looked uneasy. Sir, shouldn't we inform the council? Valen hesitated before answering. Not yet. If the Kryon Syndicate learns we've reported this, they might attack the entire ship. For now, we keep it contained. Evan rubbed his forehead. Great. First I'm glowing, then I'm almost kidnapped. Now I'm a secret. Nira placed a comforting hand on his arm. You're not a secret. You're a patient. And I will protect you. Her voice was gentle but firm. Valen raised an eyebrow at her closeness, but said nothing. He turned to Evan. Follow me. Nira stayed beside Evan as he stood up. His legs felt weak, but the glow under his skin pulsed with each step. As if his body had its own rhythm now. They walked through a long hallway with curved metallic walls and floating lights that followed their movement. Every few meters, guards stood alert, scanning for threats. Is your ship often attacked? Evan asked, trying to lighten the mood. Nira shook her head. Never. The Kryon Syndicate usually avoids Valari ships. That's comforting, Evan muttered sarcastically. Valen led them to a large door marked with glowing runes. It opened with a quiet sigh, revealing a room twice the size of the medical bay. Inside was a floating circular platform surrounded by thick, transparent walls. Nira whispered. This is the secure medical chamber. Nothing can enter or leave without authorization. Valen nodded. And more importantly, the chamber can shield energy signatures. If your body continues to generate energy waves, this room will contain them. Evan frowned. So, I won't explode the ship. Exactly, Valen said, without humor. Evan stepped into the chamber, feeling the air shift slightly around him. The floor beneath the platform glowed softly. Nira entered with him. But Valen stopped her. Nira, only authorized specialists are allowed inside. She lifted her chin. I am his assigned caretaker. Valen sighed. Very well. But be cautious. The chamber sealed behind them with a soft hum. Nira helped Evan sit on the floating bench. How do you feel now? Like a charged battery, he said honestly. It's like something inside me is waking up. Nira took his hand and closed her eyes, focusing. Valari healers had the ability to sense energy, and her face tightened as she felt the flow inside him. There is a pattern, she said slowly. Not random. Not chaotic. It's organized. Meaning? Evan asked. She opened her eyes, confused. I don't know. I've never felt this in a human before. Before Evan could respond, the entire chamber flickered. The lights dimmed. The platform shook slightly. Nira jumped in alarm. What was that? Valen's voice came through the intercom. Remain calm. The ship detected a foreign signal. Someone is trying to scan the human from outside. Evan swallowed hard. Outside, like from space? Yes, Valen answered. A ship is nearby, attempting to locate you. Nira moved closer to him. Evan. They're tracking your energy signature. The chamber trembled again. Evan felt a surge of heat inside him, a pulse that rose from his chest to his limbs. His vision blurred. Something's happening again. He gasped. The glow burst through his skin brighter than before. Blue light filled the chamber, swirling like a storm. Nira shielded her eyes. Evan, breathe. Slow down. I can't, Evan struggled. It's too much. Valen shouted from outside. Increase the containment field. The chamber walls brightened, locking the energy inside. But Evan felt something else, a memory, a flash. A voice he didn't recognize, whispering in a language he somehow understood. Nira grabbed his shoulders. Evan, stay with me. The glow faded suddenly, and he collapsed into her arms. Nira held him, shaking. "Evan, what's happening to you?" He opened his eyes weakly and whispered, "I'm remembering something. Something that isn't mine." Nira's eyes widened, and outside the chamber, Valin stared at the readings. Whatever was inside the human was far older and more dangerous than he expected. Evan lay weakly in Nira's arms, breathing heavily. The blue glow under his skin dimmed to a faint flicker, like a dying spark. Nira gently lowered him onto the floating bench as the containment field hummed around them. Outside the chamber, Dr. Valin stared at the readings with disbelief. This cannot be right. One of the guards stepped forward. Sir Valin pointed to the screen. His energy pattern. It matches an ancient Valari code. A code that has not been activated for thousands of years. The guard looked confused. But he is human. That is impossible. Valin's eyes narrowed. Exactly. Which means something or someone has awakened inside him. Inside the chamber, Nira wiped the sweat from Evan's forehead. "Evan, can you hear me?" He blinked slowly, trying to return to reality. I saw something. What did you see?" she asked softly. He swallowed, his voice shaky. A giant structure, floating in space, and a bright blue symbol carved into it. I don't know how, but I understood it. It meant origin. Nira's hands froze. "Origin, are you sure?" "Yes," Evan whispered. It felt like a memory, but not mine. Nira's mind raced. Origin was not just a symbol. It was a legend in Valari history, an ancient power source. Said to be lost long before their ancestors learned space travel, no human should ever know it. No human should ever feel connected to it. Evan sat up slowly. "Nira, what's happening to me?" She hesitated. "I don't know, but I think something inside you is unlocking knowledge that belongs to the Valari." Evan stared at his glowing hands. "But I'm human. I know," she whispered. Before they could speak further, the ship shook violently. Alarms rang through the corridor. Valin's voice came through the intercom. "Brace yourselves. The Kryon ship is locking onto us with an energy beam." Nira gasped. "The Syndicate found us." Evan felt a surge of adrenaline. "They're trying to break in, aren't they?" "Yes," Valin answered grimly. "They want whatever is inside your mind." The chamber lights flickered as the ship trembled again, this time harder. Boom! A distant explosion echoed through the halls. Nira looked terrified. "They're attacking the shields." Valin shouted orders outside the chamber. "Divert power to the external barrier. Keep the ship stable." Evan clenched his fists. "They won't stop. They're not here for the Valari. They're here for me." Nira nodded. "Because you're connected to something ancient." Suddenly, Evan winced as a sharp pain shot through his head. More flashes burst inside his mind. A figure tall, glowing, almost divine, speaking in a forgotten language. A massive gate carved with the origin symbol. A dark shadow approaching it. Nira held his shoulders. "Evan, what do you see now?" He spoke through clenched teeth. "Someone sealed the origin long ago, and they used a human with Valari energy." Nira gasped. "But humans weren't in our records until only 200 years ago." Evan's eyes widened. "Then the records are wrong." Another memory surged, a human standing beside a Valari priest. Hands glowing blue, just like Evan's. The priest sang, "The chosen will come again when the seal breaks." Evan snapped back to reality, shaking violently. "Nira, I'm remembering a prophecy." The chamber shook again. Boom! Boom! Valin's voice shouted. "The Kryon ship is boarding." "Nira, protect the human at all costs." Nira stood, pulling Evan behind her. I won't let them take you. Evan tried to stand, still dizzy. If they want me because of this energy, maybe I can. No, Nira said sharply. You cannot control it yet. If you try to use it, it may kill you. Evan met her glowing silver eyes. If I don't try, they'll kill all of you. The ship thundered again, closer this time. The lights flickered. A robotic voice echoed through the halls. Kryon breach in Sector 4. All personnel evacuate immediately. Nira grabbed Evan's arm. We need to move. But the chamber is sealed, Evan said. Nira took a deep breath and placed her hand on the transparent wall. Not for me. Her hand glowed, responding to the chamber's energy. Slowly, the protective barrier dissolved. Evan stared. You can override it. She shrugged breathlessly. Perks of being a healer. They stepped out into a corridor filled with emergency lights, flashing red. Distant footsteps echoed heavy, metallic, marching toward them. Nira looked ahead, fear in her eyes. They're coming. Evan took a shaky breath. Then he whispered, Nira, I think I know where they want to take me. She turned to him. Where? He pointed upward toward the stars. To the origin. Asterisk red lights flashed across the corridor as Evan and Nira stepped out of the secure chamber. The air smelled of burning circuits. The ship trembled under the repeated impacts of Kryon weapons. Nira tightened her grip on Evan's arm. Stay close. The Kryon soldiers are already inside. Evan nodded, his chest glowing faintly. Which way? She pointed down the curved hallway. Medical evacuation route. It leads to the central lift. From there, we can reach the command deck. Dr. Valen will protect us. They began moving quickly, but Evan's legs still felt weak. Every few steps, a pulse of blue energy climbed up his arms like a heartbeat. Nira noticed. Your energy is rising again. I'm not doing it on purpose, Evan said, trying to steady himself. They turned a corner and froze. Two Kryon soldiers stood ahead, heavy armor glowing with purple lines. Their helmets turned toward Evan instantly. Detecting the energy inside him, target located, one hissed. Nira pulled Evan behind her. Run. The soldiers lifted their weapons. Purple beams fired through the air, burning into the walls. Evan grabbed Nira's arm as they sprinted down another hallway. Valari workers scattered around them, alarms blaring, boom. A blast shook the corridor, throwing Evan off balance. Nira caught him before he fell. Are you okay? She asked breathlessly. I think I'm learning how to fall dramatically. Evan joked weakly. Nira couldn't help a tiny smile, even in danger. The human found humor, but their moment lasted only a second. Heavy footsteps echoed again closer. Nira's eyes widened. They're following your energy trail. Evan clenched his fists. I can feel them. It's like they're pulling at me. That means your energy is growing stronger, Nira said. Too strong. They reached the central lift. Nira slammed her palm onto the panel. It scanned her hand, but nothing happened. The system is jammed, she whispered. Behind them, footsteps grew louder. Shadows approached. Evan looked around desperately. Is there another way? The emergency maintenance shaft, Nira said, pointing to a circular hatch on the wall. But it's narrow. Only one person can fit at a time. Evan pushed her toward it. You go first. Nira shook her head. No, you are the target. You go. The hatch opened with a hiss. A narrow tube extended downward into darkness. Footsteps thundered closer. Nira cupped Evan's face suddenly, panic in her eyes. Evan, listen to me. You cannot let them take you. If they do, they will unlock the origin with force. That energy will destroy entire systems. Evan stared at her. But why me? Why do I have this connection? I don't know, Nira whispered, but I know your life matters now more than mine." Evan swallowed hard. "Nira, don't say that." The footsteps were almost at the corner. Nira pushed him gently toward the hatch. "Go, I'll follow." Evan slipped inside the tube. It was dark and tight, but he crawled down quickly. A moment later, Nira slid in behind him and sealed the hatch. The footsteps stopped directly outside. Metal claws scratched the hatch. The Kryon soldiers were searching for a way in. Evan whispered, "They know we're here. Keep moving." Nira whispered back. They crawled down until the tube opened into a smaller engineering corridor filled with pipes, glowing vents, and humming wires. Nira jumped out first, pulling Evan with her. But the moment they landed, a sudden tremor shook the ship. A loud explosion erupted above them. Nira grabbed a railing to stay balanced. "The Kryon ship is breaching the hull. They're forcing their way inside." Evan stared upward. "Why are they so desperate?" "Because the origin is not just a myth," Nira said. "It is a power that can reshape space itself." Evan's chest glowed again, stronger this time. The blue light traveled down his arms like fire. Nira stepped closer, eyes wide. "Evan, your energy is activating again. You must calm down." "I'm trying," he said, through clenched teeth. "But something inside me is pushing harder, like it wants to wake up." Nira placed both hands on his cheeks. "Look at me. Focus on my voice." Evan met her silver glowing eyes. The energy slowed, his breathing steadied. Then a loud crash echoed. Through the corridor, the wall behind them dented inward. A metallic hand punched through the steel. Another. The wall tore open and a Kryon soldier stepped inside, larger than the others. Its armor crackled with purple lightning. It aimed its weapon directly at Evan. "Human." The soldier growled, "You belong to us." Evan's heartbeat thundered. His skin burned with blue light. Nira stepped in front of him without fear. "Over my dead body." The Kryon soldier raised its weapon, but Evan shouted in pain as a massive surge of energy burst from him like a shock wave. The floor cracked. The lights shattered. The Kryon soldier flew back like a rag doll, crashing into the far wall. Evan collapsed to his knees, shaking. Nira rushed to him. "Evan, Evan, stay with me." He looked up at her with terrified eyes. "Nira, I can't control it." She held him tightly. "We'll find a way. I promise." But even she wasn't sure anymore, because the energy inside him was awakening faster than anyone expected. And the Kryon weren't the only ones coming for him. The corridor lights flickered wildly as Evan's energy pulse faded. Smoke drifted from broken wires in the ceiling. The Kryon soldier he blasted lay motionless on the floor. Armor cracked open like a crushed shell. Evan knelt on the ground, trembling, breathing hard. The blue glow under his skin flickered weakly, now like a flame struggling to stay alive. Nira held him tightly. "Evan, you saved us." He shook his head. "I didn't save anyone. I just exploded again." "No," she whispered. "You controlled it just enough to protect us." But Evan wasn't convinced. His power scared him more than the soldiers chasing him. Before he could respond, a loud metallic thud echoed through the ship. Nira's eyes widened. "They've breached another deck." Evan forced himself up. "We can't outrun them forever." Nira hesitated. "There's something you need to know." He turned toward her. Nira took a deep breath. The origin isn't just an ancient power. It was locked away by a hybrid being, a mix of Valari and something else. Something human-like. Evan frowned. Human-like. Before humans even existed. Nira nodded slowly. "Our history scrolls claim that long ago, a traveler from another galaxy came to the Valari. He looked like a human. He carried an energy inside him, your energy. Evan stared at her. So he was? Like me. Maybe not exactly human, she said, but close enough. He sealed the origin because it was too dangerous. And he said one day someone with the same energy would awaken to stop it from opening again. Evan whispered, "A prophecy." Nira nodded. "And your body reacting to the healing field. It matches the legend." Evan leaned against the wall, overwhelmed. "So I'm a chosen one. That's insane." "No," Nira corrected gently. "You're a human in the wrong place at the wrong time, who became something more, something the universe needs." Before Evan could reply, the ship's intercom crackled. It was Dr. Valin. Evan listened carefully. Nira grabbed a wall panel and tapped into the channel. "We're here, sir." Valin's voice was tense. "The Kryon Syndicate has forced their main ship into docking position. They are sending their leader. We cannot hold them back." Evan's heart sank. "Their leader?" "Yes," Valin replied. "A being called the Void Seeker. He is stronger than all their soldiers combined. And he wants the human at any cost." Nira's grip tightened around Evan's hand. "We need to escape." "We cannot escape," Valin said. "But there is one chance." The chamber Evan was innate created an energy map of his connection to the origin. That map can activate a protective barrier around him, but only if Evan triggers it himself. Evan swallowed. "So I have to use the energy." "Yes," Valin said. "Control it. Focus it. You must activate it willingly." Evan looked at his shaking hands. "But every time I try, it explodes." "You won't be alone," Nira said softly. "We'll guide you." Valin cut back in. "Go to the command deck. I will meet you there." The intercom shut off. Evan looked at Nira. "Let's finish this." They ran through the damaged corridors. Smoke filled the air, sparks burst from the walls, and distant explosions shook the hallways. Purple lights flashed behind them, Kryon forces closing in. Finally, they reached the command deck. The door slid open, and Dr. Valin stood in the center. His robe torn, his face bruised. "You're just in time," before he could say more. The walls buckled inward. A massive armored figure stepped through. The broken metal, the Void Seeker. He was twice as tall as any soldier, covered in black armor with purple cracks glowing like molten veins. His voice rumbled like thunder. "Human, you carry the power we have chased for centuries. You belong to us." Evan stepped forward, knees shaking, but he didn't back down. "I'm not your weapon." The Void Seeker raised a massive hand. "Then you will die." He unleashed a blast of purple energy. Nira screamed, "Evan!" Evan closed his eyes, and something inside him snapped open clean. Calm, controlled. He raised his hand. A blue barrier appeared instantly, absorbing the blast like water swallowing fire. The Void Seeker froze. Nira stared, shocked. "You controlled it." Evan opened his glowing eyes. "I can feel it. The origin. It's guiding me." Dr. Valin nodded. "Then release it. Protect us." Evan stepped forward. Blue light burst from him, not wild this time, but steady, powerful, controlled. The light formed a massive wave and slammed into the Void Seeker, lifting the armored giant and throwing him across the command deck like a broken statue. He crashed into the wall and didn't move again. Silence fell. The Kryon ship retreated instantly. Their leader defeated. The crew stared at Evan in awe. Nira ran to him, tears in her eyes. "You did it." Evan smiled tiredly. "I finally controlled it." Valin bowed his head. "Human, you saved us all." Evan breathed out slowly. "So, what now?" Nira leaned against him gently. "Now, we learn who you really are, and why the origin chose you. Evan's glow slowly faded, but a tiny spark remained inside him, warm, steady. A live dot, a spark that promised this was only the beginning.